Yo, peace, fellas.
Peace, peace.
How we feeling? How we feeling out there?
Feeling good, man.
Feeling like I've been at this airport for 4 hours and I just hopped on the plane.
When are you guys taking off?
In about 20 minutes. I probably got about 20 minutes to get it in, and then I'm going to have to jump back off and reconnect. We just sat on a plane for an hour with two pilots, and we were supposed to fly like a personal flight back. After sitting there for an hour, they promptly let us know that we weren't going any damn where, which caused us to miss the flight.
Wow.
And now on another flight. So I missed about 3 flights today. Yeah.
Peace.
Man, when you at Delta?
Due to the fact that I work at the airport again, sir, I'm not at liberty to discuss those things.
Oh, Soul Plane.
You know, let's
So
just say that
the trip was worth it though, Coop, right?
trip was worth it. Let's just say flying the friendly skies ain't been too friendly these last few hours, but I'm gonna say less because there are people who matter who know me from the airport for years that follow the show that work in the airport, and so I'm just gonna be democratic and bureaucratic and say less and try to get home because I do have to work tomorrow. But it's been a nice vacation. Minnesota was really nice. It's really clean. People were really friendly. Had a great time. Spent the day at Paisley Park today. It was an amazing experience. I'm very, very happy that I did. I love the organization and the structure. I mean, can we go ahead and kick off? I mean, are we just gonna make this a viral
please,
vibe?
yeah. Tell us about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it was astonishing, gentlemen. I mean, I hate to say this, but you know this, when it comes to Black-owned business, we have a built-in trepidation with each other. I think that's fair to say, right?
Mhm.
This operation is being run at a high level. It was very organized. It was very classy. They have made it a point to try to keep his legacy alive as much as possible. The most striking thing for me about being there is that it's apparent upon entry that he intended for this to be a museum from the time that he built it. Like, he started construction of this shortly after Purple Rain. First of all, this is why great albums change your life. Oh, he didn't have build a palace, estate, recording studio, super museum type of money before Purple Rain. He had Dirty Mind, he had 1999, he had Controversy, he didn't have Purple Rain money. Purple Rain funded Paisley Park. And they talk about how Purple Rain funded Paisley Park, but his intention was to always make it into a museum. And although he lived there, the base of the whole place, of the whole compound, was designed to be a museum from its inception. It's what he had always intended. Hold on one second, gentlemen. Y'all got to talk for a second. I got to let these people talk.
Yeah, Coop is on Soul Plane right now. Spirit Airlines. He barely got out of Paisley Park. They caught Coop trying to put on Prince's boots and they tell him to get up. They tell him to get up out of there. So he can't say nothing back. So I'm gonna have to play him. He gotta take it, pause. But yeah, Coop did get caught trying to put on Prince boots. Prince and Coop actually wear the same size shoe, and they actually size 7 in boys, and they caught him trying to put it on, and they kicked him out of Paisley Park, so that's why he misses up his other flight. So yeah, Coop, safe travels tonight, man. Bam.
Yeah, they're finished talking. Let me talk. And I'm glad you have jokes. First of all, I'm a size 11 and a half. I was not removed from the establishment at all. Okay. Never mind. Now the captain want to talk. Excuse me. Hold on again.
Yo, the captain probably drinking right now. Man, Coop is on Soul Plane for real. Yo, that's crazy that you work at the airport and you got to go to Soul Plane. That's wild.
I don't even care if he's talking in the background. They're talking too much. Start this flight. Let's get me home. No, but it was really, really great. There's a lot of history in there. So here's a couple things that I want to point out. The guitar that Prince played at the Super Bowl at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when he played My Guitar Gently Weeps, it's called the Horner HG 450. Only 500 of them were made. He bought the guitar in 1980, and he literally spent his entire career retuning it and upkeeping it and adding like little intricacies to it. So that was really awesome to see the guitar that he played in the Super Bowl and played My Guitar Gently Weeps on. That was super nice. The beat machine that he used was a Linwood L100. So we got to see the beat machine that he made when Doves Cry on. And we got to see the OBXA, which is the synthesizer that he used for most of his most famous works, including When Doves Cry. They're celebrating the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain, so there was a lot of Purple Rain talk. But we got to see the synthesizer, the guitar, and the beat machine that Prince uses the most, and they have it encased and all right next to each other when you go into Studio A. There was 3 separate studios that we went into. The completion of Paisley Park didn't get finished until around the time he started recording pieces of Sign of the Times and then disbanded from the Revolution. So Sign of the Times was some of the first stuff that was actually like recorded in Paisley Park, because he built it in 85, but it wasn't finished until 87. But everything pretty much that he made after that came out of these studios. Madonna has recorded there. Andrew will love this. REM recorded there. Yeah, REM is like Andrew's favorite group. So I thought that was a little striking piece of history too. But one of the most amazing things about the place is how people around town know he used to throw impromptu musical sessions and jam sessions all the time. And he literally, guys, used to throw it up on Twitter and then take it down so it would be known, but still private and kind of secluded. The rooms have different color schemes and ambiances. The walls in the front are painted like the video from Raspberry Beret. Around the World in the Day was the album that he was making while Paisley Park was getting built. So that's why there's a title called Paisley Park. And you can see how some of the actual aesthetics of the compound are from Around the World in a Day, which is the album right after Purple Rain. So there was a lot of history in there. There's a lot of moments. The kitchen from the Charlie Murphy skit where he made them pancakes, it's a real kitchen. Like
dope.
so when you see the Dave Chappelle skit scene where they're like sitting in these little diner style chairs and tables and booths, no, that's really in the atrium when you walk into the front of the complex. So it's almost like when you remember the scene where they're sitting down eating pancakes in the booth. It's like, no, I saw the booth. And it's kind of funny. Pancakes are mentioned multiple times throughout the tour. So he was obviously a big fan of pancakes. But what he was really, and I want everybody to remember this and think about this. He's probably the first artist of his stature to go back home and then stay home. Like Michael Jackson left Gary, Indiana, and never went back.
Mhm.
You know, most of these guys that reach it to the places that the Prince made it to, they don't go back home. He went back home, and I love the way that this city is keeping his legacy alive. You see purple stuff everywhere. There are Prince stores everywhere, including in the airport. When you just walk by with something Prince, people start having conversations with you. This city has done a phenomenal job about keeping this man's legacy alive. I love the way that Paisley Park is run down to the security doing check-ins, making sure nobody gets in without a ticket. You don't bring anything in. There are no cameras allowed till you get to the last portion of the VIP tour. It was immaculately run. They have made it a point to preserve, like literally the estate, how he left it when he passed. So there are certain couches and certain things that you can't even sit on because they're really trying to keep it alive. And some of this stuff, you have to understand, he bought this stuff in 1985, 86, 87, and it still is in pristine condition. So he was also somebody who wasn't just meticulous about his work, but meticulous about his home. So I could see the reflections of who he was just as a human being that translated from the music. You got to see the recording booths that he recorded out of. He's the only singer of his ilk that I've ever seen. They had an extra long microphone. He used to record sitting in a chair more often than he did actually standing up, which is very, very rare for a singer. And I think now, when I think about it, I think that came from all the wear and tear from performing, which had something to do with his demise and his hips and stuff. So he was making it a point, even very early on in his career, to try to get rest because he recorded sitting down. And so this was somebody that like knew his legacy, knew he was a genius. Like, think about this. Like, he knew in 1986, 87 that this place was going to be a museum. Like, he knew who he was. He knew there weren't too many people like him, and he wanted to make sure his legacy moved on for us, but mostly for his city. And so here's what I'll tell you. In a lot of ways, he's our first independent rapper. He was putting albums online before putting albums online was a thing. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Like with Crystal Ball, like there was no Spotify or Apple Music or Tidal or any of the streaming service. He helped start that wave. Artists owning their masters. He started some of that wave. But listen to what I'm about to say. Oh no, people who put on for their city. He started that trend too. Like he made it big and went back, and he put on for Minneapolis till the day that he died. And I think that's something that doesn't often get talked about, but you see it and you feel it when you're up here. It was a great time. I can literally talk the entire show about it, but it was truly a transformative experience. And I felt like I was in a high class, high level museum. When I did my post earlier, I likened it to being at the Orsay or the Louvre, and I meant that when I said it.
That's what's up. That sounds dope.
Yeah. So what do y'all think? Have y'all,
Did you get any memorabilia? Did you get anything from there, like any shirts or mugs or anything like signature based things?
I'm glad that you bring that up, Sean. I'd like to show you something right quick.
Did you steal the shoes?
Just watch it come.
Stole the butt out jeans.
First of all, this is why I didn't buy you guys any merchandise, and I just bought my mama and my daughter stuff. These are black leather Prince gloves. These are black leather gloves I bought. Now, Sean, you don't understand this because you don't have no control over your life. But when I put these gloves on and I take them off and I point, all the fine girls go get Lake Minnetonka when I do that. You don't know nothing about that life. When I put the gloves on, I take it off and I point, they go get in Lake Minnetonka. That's what they told me at Paisley Park. They're like, you want to get the girls in Lake Minnetonka like Apollonia? They're like, you need these gloves. I said, I'll take 2 pair.
Hey, yo, that's gonna be the artwork for our next show, like Kendrick did on 616 in LA, how the gloves on the, you know what I'm saying, on the joint. We're gonna have Coop's gloves for the artwork. Next to the boots and the butt out jeans.
The butt out chaps.
First of all, y'all gonna stop clowning. Y'all gonna stop clowning the king. But no, I got my mama a hoodie, got my daughter a t-shirt, got a magnet. It was a great time though. It was a good day. It was a really, really good day. I'm glad I went. Yeah. Like I've been here for a few days, but just going to Paisley Park was worth the price of admission. It really was. It really, really was.
I think I read they got like an Airbnb there where you can stay, where it has like a replica studio set up and like the set of Purple Rain in like different rooms and stuff. So I don't know if you came across that or not.
I did come across some of the set stuff. I don't know about the Airbnb stuff. I'm not sure how valid that is, but you know, the Purple Rain room was obviously the largest room. The motorcycle from Purple Rain is in there. I don't know why, but a Carolina Blue Bentley is in the stadium performance stage area. I took some footage of that too. It's the only thing in there that's not purple is the Blue Bentley.
Thank you so much for your cooperation.
That's the one Nas was talking about.
Yeah.
Might have been. He's probably been there before.
Right.
And you want to know what? It's like when you pull up on the complex, you're like, this is a warehouse. It's like he built a warehouse. That's why it serves so well as a museum. Yeah, it's very much a large compound. And if you're not paying attention, you'll drive right past it, even though it's massive. Like it's massive, but you can miss him in a second. Like the driver.
Yeah, but it needs to be large in scope, you know, for who he was.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, they've done a good job. I think he probably wanted this way. The forestry around it kind of keeps it secluded still. If you were to chop down some trees, you'd be able to see it from far, far away.
No doubt. No doubt. Man, I'm glad I know that's your favorite artist of all time, man, or one of your favorite artists of all time. I'm happy for you, man.
Number one.
I'm happy for you. That's your first time going there, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, man, just to be able to experience that, you know, and just being able to come back and talk to us about it, because you always talk about Prince. You know, this got to be a major check-in about like a bucket list thing for you, right?
Yes, very big bucket list. I would like to say when I was leaving, I thought to myself, you can have all these rappers and these singers if you'll bring me Tupac and Prince back.
Yeah.
You can have these guys. Like
so cool. You did 4016 last year or year before last, and now Paisley Park.
No, it was last year. February last year. Last year, Queensbridge. This year. So I got my number one rapper, my number one artist. Check.
Yep.
That's dope.
What more can you do? Like, what's next?
What we're gonna be talking about? I want to go to Houston and kick it with Scarface. We need to make that happen. That'd be number 3 on my list. It's Tupac's gone.
That's
I'll
crazy.
take those.
I ain't mad at that.
Yeah. But look, I gotta actually get up off the phone right quick because they're about to do all the logistics and stuff. So when the Wi-Fi kicks back up and kicks back in, I'm gonna jump back on. But if not, I'm just gonna be in the comments.
Yeah. Safe travels to Coop.
Safe travels, Coop.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He brought up You brought up Scarface. That's a dope segue. You want to get into the next topic, Sean?
Yeah, before we do that, you just gonna go by and allow Coop to be in a plane with assless chaps on? That's crazy. Actually sitting on a plane in the Prince assless chaps, and you're gonna just be okay with that. Man, the brand is in trouble, man. We're in trouble.
Yeah,
But
that's
nah,
crazy.
man, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about the Discord dialogues. The floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, Coop brought up Scarface, and we're doing this new segment called Discord Dialogues. We have a Discord group right now with approximately 70 members in it, and usually every day the Discord be on fire talking about different hip hop topics and so on and so forth. But we wanted to involve the Discord by giving them a voice on our show and give them their own segment. So earlier this week, we had up to 10 people nominate one artist or producer or group that they would like to see us talk about that might not be in the regular news cycle as far as hip hop media is concerned, and give them their own segment and wax poetic about their career, about the music they put out or what have you. And this week's winner just so happened to be Scarface, which tallied most of the votes in our Discord. So that gives me and Sean the opportunity to talk a little bit about Scarface and what he brought to the genre of hip hop and music in general.
No doubt, no doubt. Look, man, shout out to the Discord. The Discord goes crazy all day, every day, sun up to sun down. It's so much to deal with when it comes to the Discord. So shout out to the Discord. They did select Scarface as the feature for this week. I'm gonna kick it back to you, man, because this is you and Coop's baby. I know Coop is in safe travels right now, but I'm gonna let you lead the way with this, man. This is what you guys have put together for the Discord dialogue.
Yeah, no doubt. For Scarface being the winner of this first edition of Discord Dialogue, that meant a lot. It meant a lot to me because I don't know if I've mentioned it ever on this show before, but at one point Scarface was my favorite rapper ever. You know what I mean? I got introduced to Scarface at a young age when I probably shouldn't have been listening to somebody like Scarface, but I got introduced to Scarface back in around '89 when I was 8 years old. To the Ghetto Boys around the time of their second album, Grip It on That Other Level. And around that time, him and Ice Cube, from NWA, Straight Outta Compton fame, they were my favorite rappers up until '94 when I discovered who Nas was. So, Scarface is just somebody I've followed throughout the beginning of his career to now. And he currently ranks number 7 on my top 10 of all time list. And, what I got for Scarface is immense because he's one of the people at great group career, stellar solo career. I don't think a lot of people realize how elite that list is. People who have, top tier careers, both as a group artist and a solo artist. So, Scarface is one of those people on the short list. As far as his discography as a solo artist, I mean, I think he got 3 classics and a possible. I think Mr. Scarface is back as a classic. I think The Diary is definitely a classic. I think The Fix is a classic. And the one I would count as a possible for the 4th is The Untouchable. And, Scarface definitely hands down has a top 10 discography in hip hop. Some would even argue top 5, and I'm not even mad at that. And, I'm glad that he was the first person that we're going to talk about this week in the Discord dialogues. And more importantly, I'm glad that he is, fine and prospering and, doing well, because he just popped up, at the Grand Master Awards, and he was the recipient of one of the recipients of the award last year, with Rakim. And, he recently just had open heart surgery. So to see him, doing well and moving out and about in the public, it makes me very happy, man, because he's one of our legends that need to be, given his flowers and a lot of respect put on his name. And, we just need to cherish Scarface, man. He's one of them ones. And I think he's one of the GOATs for real.
No doubt, no doubt. Definitely one of one, man. gets so much respect from the hip hop community. You rarely hear anybody from the hip hop community talking ill about Scarface. Throughout his entire career, and that's rare. That's rare air to be in. When
Right.
you get respect from every region, respect from top artists, any artist, and the fact that he's able to hop on anything, on anyone's, like from Jay to Nas, Pop, some of the greats, he sparred with them, on the mic, and actually putting some outstanding performances. We actually saluted Scarface today on one of our segments that we also have every Thursday, which is our bar seminar, Hip Hop Quotable of the Week. And we gave him two. We gave him a quote from his first album, and we gave the quote for a feature that he had on the Dynasty joint with him, Jay, and Beans. And one of the things I can tell you, man, just to be transparent, I didn't grow up on Scarface like that. I'm being completely honest. When Scarface was with the Ghetto Boys, I tapped in, but I wasn't locked in, if that makes sense, right?
Mhm.
And then when he definitely went solo, I still really wasn't, tapped in like that. I wasn't locked in like that. I was heavy into New York music, of course, New York hip hop at that time. But what got my attention for Scarface was the fact that, and he's always showed love to every region that he went into. And when he was collaborating with The Rock during that time and collaborating with Nas on the I Am joint, I paid attention. I was like, oh, this is the Scarface that people was talking about for these years, right?
Right.
And I just wonder if you remember he was talking about doing a Beans and Mac album. It was supposed to be him and Beanie Siegel, and it never came to light. I wonder if that would have happened. Would that have gave him an extra oomph, amongst the Northeast region, or would that still solidify who he really is? And again, dope artist, dope MC, one of the greats, pure legend. And I'm glad that we had an opportunity to get the Discord to actually show him some love on that Discord dialogue.
Absolutely, man. And one thing about Scarface, he's not doing a whole lot of lyrical miracle stuff, but he's one of the few rappers that had the ability to get you in your feelings. You know what I'm saying? And tug on your heartstrings and like hit that deeper level of emotion in you when you're listening to the music. You know what I mean? Because it resonates with you on a different level. He was one of the first I've ever heard do that, whether it be on tracks like, A Minute to Pray, is A Second to Die, Seen a Man Die, Smile, like, he countless tracks that, Scarface, and, we honored his verse on This Can't Be Life for a feature. So Scarface was always in that bag. Some other of my favorites are Mary Jane, Heaven, Guess Who's Back with Jay-Z and Beans. And I mean, he just got classic material all over the place. And when you finally started recognizing that Scarface was as dope as everybody was telling you, Sean, what was some of the tracks outside of the collaborations that did it for you?
Man, to be honest, it was when I heard him and Nas on Favor
for a Favor. Okay.
Yeah. That was when that's when it resonated with me from a solo perspective. Because again, I was a Ghetto Boys fan when it came out. Mind Pantry, one of my favorite songs of all time. But when I heard him on there with Nas going back and forth, mic for mic, that's when it resonated with me. Because this is like 99. I'm 19 at this time. So that's when it actually resonated with me. Then he followed that up, and got on a track with Jay and Beans on This Can't Be Life. And the way, just the emotion, him and Ghostface, when they get into that emotional rap bag, no one can do better.
Right.
They're like 1A, 1B, right?
Right.
And hearing the story behind that verse even brings it home even more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it was a legit emotion that he exuded on that record. And for me, I was like, that's top tier MCing right there.
Absolutely.
That's storytelling right there. Not many people can do that at that clip. So that's what one of the things that for me, again, was back-to-back years. Again, I've always appreciated him, but 99, 2000 was when I was like, okay, he's one of one. He is one of one. That's when it hit me. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, sir, man. And just real quick before we move on, look at all the things that he's ranked top tier in, across the board. I've already said he has a top 10, arguably top 5 solo discography. I would say probably a top 10 voice in hip hop, easily. You know what I mean? Some people may put him in top 5. As far as storytelling ability, he ranks up there top 5, just behind, we mentioned Nas, you got Big, Slick Rick, Ghostface, Scarface is in that 5, in my opinion. And we talked about, the ability to hit you differently emotionally. You know what I mean? And for me, Scarface is definitely top 5. Like that, you said him and Ghost was 1A and 1B for you. For me, my top 5 in no particular order in that aspect is Pac, Face, DMX, Budden, and Ghostface. So, those are all elite as well in that department. So, salute to Scarface. We appreciate you and your contributions to the game. It's been the first edition of Discord Dialogues, and we're going to do this again next week. So it'll be a new poll in our Discord, and we'll vote on somebody else to talk about on our next week's show.
No doubt. And I know Coop wanted to be a part of this one because Scarface is one of Coop favorites. So Coop, if you can hear us, man, you need to please put together a joint for the people and give your take on Scarface as well, and put it out there to the people so they can hear your point of view on the Scarface dialogue as well.
For sure.
AG, get these. We got a couple of super chats, and we're going to move on.
No doubt. Shout out to 007. It says Queens get the money. He said Cole still, blank, and there's no coming back. They on Cole already, man. CJ the Kid, shout out to you with the $5 super chat. Said, I'm here, guys. A blessing to you all. Hope I made it. Yeah, you made it, man. You just in time, bro.
No doubt. No doubt. So CJ the Kid is a big mixtape guy. And you mentioned Joe Budden as one of the emotional ones in your category. Joe made a comment saying that, first I thought he just said that his mixtape catalog is better than Lil Wayne's mixtape catalog. But then I saw on Billboard where he stated it was Lil Wayne and 50 Cent. That he was better than both.
I saw the actual clip, and his Ice and Ish and his counterparts, they were throwing other top tier mixtape people out there, and he just doubled down. He said, I feel like my catalog is the best. You know what I mean? He didn't say specifically mine is better than Wayne's, mine is better than 50's, but he wasn't backing down that his mixtape catalog was the best out of anybody else.
Man, listen, I don't even think he has a top 5 mixtape catalog.
I disagree, but tell me more.
When I think about the mixtape era, there was some heavy hitters that we don't even talk about enough. Jadakiss mixtape era was crazy.
He's in my top 5 mixtape, yeah.
All of that. I would put Styles P ahead of him. Ghost in the Shell, Ghost in the Machine, every last one of them joints with Pooh, some joints that he had with Big Mike, the Big Mike series. Styles P went crazy on there. Lloyd Banks, 50 Cent changed the dynamic of mixtape. 50 Cent made mixtapes like it was an actual legit album.
Absolutely.
Changed the dynamic landscape, all of that. You can't forget, and again, Wayne mixtape run, in my opinion, is what made Wayne, gave him that contention during that time as one of the greatest MCs of all time. I never thought that he was one of the greatest MCs of all time personally, but that mixtape run that he had put him in the pantheon of those that were great. Right.
Mixtape and features. Mixtapes and features. He was killing both.
Features. Absolutely. Absolutely. The problem that I have with that statement, again, I'm not shitting on Joe at all. I think Joe's mixtape run is phenomenal within itself. But there were so many great mixtape runs in that era, that mixtape era, that I can't put him in that top 5. Man, I have a hard time even thinking about just the songs. I mean, just the albums that he put out mixtape wise, if they're trumping the things that I heard from Jadakiss and I heard from Styles P during that era. It's tough for me, bro.
I feel what you're saying, and there was a lot of dope mixtapes, that was coming out, and people got dope mixtape material. but just because it's dope don't mean it's classic or legendary. And I think that Joe can hang his hat on having legendary mixtape material, and I think that's who he is as an artist. I think the name of Joe Budden, before we get to the podcasting, his legend was built off more so the mixtape versus his mainstream success, like, to Pump It Up. And, nobody was really into the retail versions of the albums he was putting out. And the reason why I say that is because of the Mood Music series. Mood Music series is legendary and has a lot of lore behind it himself, because when people think of Joe as the rapper, they refer to him, they think of him in that vein. You know what I mean? Because like you mentioned Styles P, but when we say Styles P, we're not running to Ghost in the Shell or, referencing that as, part of his legend. So that's why I say Joe's is top 5. And I have my personal top 5, and, it's based on certain resume, and Joe, he can throw his, name in the hat. I don't think he has the best, but I think it's, it's not, between him and I got 50 Cent first, right?
Okay.
And his resume is, Guess Who's Back, which he got the deal off of that. Eminem was listening to that over and over, and that's what made him sign 50. Then he had the G Unit joints, 50 Cent is the Future, No Mercy, No Fear, and then God's Plan, which are all 3 super fire classic mixtapes that had the streets buzzing like crazy during that time. And this is before Get Rich or Die Trying. He was already kind of out of here, you know what I mean? And he also has the G Unit Radio mixtape series. So I think 50's resume is pretty untouchable as far as the mixtape. Because like you alluded to, Sean, he changed the game, in the whole mixtape landscape, making them people were copying them like albums. You know what I mean? Because it was a different level of care and quality that was being put into the mixtapes. And when you do a mixtape and you're rapping over other people's beats or whatever, when you do it to a point where you're making certain songs your own, where people don't even reference the original joint no more, you know what I'm saying? That's when you know that you changed the game on the mixtape level. So number 2, I got Wayne, of course. His resume, you brought him up, the Dedication and the Gangsta Grill series with DJ Drama, classic series. He also got the Drought series, which is my personal favorite series of his. I think the Drought is elite work, both versions of that. And then he has the No Ceiling series, which is tough too. So I got Wayne at number 2. Then I got Joe Budden at number 3, just off the strength of Mood Music series. Like, I mean, it ranks up there. Like, I really think Joe has, a claim to top mixtape artists. You know what I mean? I think he knows where his, where he can compete in that arena, and it's the mixtapes. I don't think he would ever, say he's better than, Wayne or whoever else, like on a commercial aspect, but he knows he's one of them ones when it comes to the mixtape material. 4, I got Fabulous, based on the Soul tapes, and then the Summertime Shootout series. And then my favorite Fabulous mixtape is actually Loso's Way, Rise to Power. So, I got him at 4. At number 5, you already mentioned, Jadakiss, the Champ Is Here series with DJ Green Lantern, fire, and then all the D Block mixtapes. I mean, if you were, out and about, if you was outside when the D Block mixtapes was dropping, it was a special time. It was a special time for real. But that's my top 5 mixtape artists.
Let's get these super chats. Got a lot coming in right now.
Okay.
Got CJ the Kid.
Appreciate it, CJ. I know you're going to mention members, but I'm just going to say G Unit, D Block, and Dipset tapes. Tab everything for me back then. That's a fact.
Absolutely.
Mad Max, appreciate the $10 super chat. Joe, a crackhead, and Don got better mixtapes than 50. 50 got the greatest mixtapes catalog ever. I had 50 at number 1. It's not close. 0250 was running my older kids. 0250 was running my older kids, treating him like Hove and Nas before Get Rich. Yeah, 50 is that guy. CJ with another $5 super chat. We appreciate you, bro. Mood Music 2 is general consensus classic, fellas. It is. You know what I'm saying? And I love all them joints, but Mood Music 2 is special. Mad Max again, appreciate you. I'm tired of the 50 disrespect. 50 was him and had us wearing bulletproof vests. I was 6 years old telling my moms I need the vest like 50. And I have to hear I have to hear out of town guys tell me about Wayne's whack-ish.
Yo, this is
Mad Max is wild, man. But we appreciate the $10 super chat, Max.
no.
Ill Magic with the $5 super chat. Do you guys think mixtape / independent albums should be in debates with major label mainstream albums based on which is the better project? You care if I answer that real quick, Sean?
Please, yeah.
When we're ranking artists, I count everything. You know what I mean? If they got a mixtape catalog, if they got a feature run, if they got, solo catalog, if they belong to a group. When I'm ranking artists, I encompass everything that artist has ever put out, personally.
Yeah. I'm impartial to that. I'm not against it, but I'm not all the way for it, because some mixtapes is just loosies. A lot of them are built just to get the buzz generated. So I'm kind of, depends on who the artist is and what the mixtape feel like. Like 50 mixtape made him a legend, got him a record deal, got him one of the best record deals for an artist, right? So you got to count some of that. And Lil Wayne's mixtape is what helped boost his credibility amongst the hip hop world, right? Not only that, for me, I'm gonna be honest, I will put the Game's mixtape run over Joe's mixtape run.
The New Jersey Devil mixtapes was tough.
It's tough. Game was killing the mixtape scene when he was really in his bag. I will put that over Joe. And again, I love Joe mixtape run, but I will put Jeezy over that, because Jeezy mixtape run was wild.
It was. T.I. had a good one.
Yeah, I had a good one. I'll put Game over every mixtape that Game was dropping during that time. He was not missing. Even when he did the GU Not campaign, all of them joints, he was not missing. He actually did the whole what is it? It was like the Get Rich something or whatever, but he was on a cover, and I started off with the Chicken Little theme or whatever.
The Break Light joints was my favorite one.
Ooh, Break Lights was crazy. Break Lights was crazy. I will put that over the Joe Budden joint, to be honest with you. And the Locks, D Block, those mixtapes, every last one of them were a hit. You look at Styles P was killing the mixtape scene. Jadakiss the mixtape scene. Sheik Luch had a great run in the mixtape.
I think Sheik is the unsung hero of that whole, D Block mixtape run, and J Hood too, man. J Hood was blazing all those tracks.
J Hood was blazing everything.
Yeah, and I think Banks is a cheat code though, because if we being honest, he was on just about every 50 song on 50's mixtapes, and 50 was the front man, he was the star. But when we came away from the mixtapes talking about Banks. Yeah,
we did because Banks was, again, he was the punchline king, right?
Right.
Couldn't make a lot of great, He was that one. He was everything he was jumping on. He was killing it. The only thing that I think hurt Banks' long run was he did so well on the mixtape circuit when it was time to get into that, that true catalog. I think the sound. I think that his muffled sound hurt him more than anything else, because it's just the range in his voice, the inflections of his voice weren't carrying over. Because the flow was just like here. It was like just steady.
Even kill. Yeah.
It was even kill. And I think that hurt his overall discography from an actual release. And not just a mixtape. But mixtape wise, he was out of control. Mixtape wise, out of control.
Let me ask you this, Sean. So, this era, mixtapes are dead. It's not even really a thing. Like, we don't even have Dat Piff anymore. But we come from an era where we would go to the, the mom and pop spots, and you had the bodegas. So what was it like when, you came back home from boot camp, you know what I'm saying? And like, I don't think a lot of people understand, like, when you go to certain outlets to cop mixtapes, it was like, we did that down there, like copping albums,
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about what that was like on the New York scene when you came home?
It was still different because, remember, I got back in like the latter part of 98. I went to boot camp, October. What a day's date? Today's the 10th. Damn, today is my anniversary. I went to boot camp October 10th, 1998. You know what I mean? And I didn't get back until January of 99. So everything had changed. Mixtapes for me, I remember J Love, like
Mhm.
in the early 90s. J
Yep.
Love had all of it was written on his actual on his mixtape. All of it, it was not in sequence, it was all over the place. But I remember J Love had all of it, it was written, and he has a couple of unreleased Nas freestyles on that mixtape. I heard that going to basketball camp like crazy. I heard it was written before it actually, about 2 weeks before it came out. So I
Mhm.
remember J Love was like the one. And then it started going into coaches. Then you start seeing, Big Mike. Then you start seeing it was on Coop start coming around. So, again, you Big Cap, who had the big names. You had Flex, of course, the Clue mixtapes.
Right.
You had so many different variety to go to.
Mixed
And
burgers.
yeah, there was so many. And during that time, everybody, it was all about where can I get this freestyle from? If I can get this freestyle first, I got to put it out first
Mhm.
as a DJ, especially in New York, because in New York at that time, everyone was vying to get that one take. They had to get that one take, right? And I think it was like a competition to get that one take, because at one point you get Flex. If Flex get your joint, he's putting the ill bombs on it. That was what it was. But I think CJ the Kid, we chatted like on a Discord on like a 101 channel, and because he's really heavy in the mixtape. And I think I
Mhm.
told CJ the Kid a few weeks ago that in my era of mixtape, it was about not so much as finding the DJ per se, like the Clue or the Flex. It was about seeing who had the best collection of
Correct.
freestyles on the
Yep.
mix,
Yep.
right? And that was my scenery at that time. We didn't really care about, for a minute, we didn't care about the full length album. We wanted to get the Lucy's
Mhm.
on one complete CD. So we made the CD ourselves.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, because that's when you could download everything on LimeWire, whatever. Yeah.
facts.
Mhm.
And I felt like Big Mike was one of those that ran the scene. Like I felt like Big Mike was killing it,
Mhm.
honestly. And then it started changing. It started going to the regions, the different regions. I think 2003, 2004, when things started like really, really ramping up. Because of 50, I think the 50 movement,
Yeah.
brought a lot of that to it. And every region started getting a piece of the pie. And that's when the South started getting a piece of the pie. You had
Mhm.
drama, putting out the drama series,
Yeah.
and you had other joints that would just come out of nowhere, man. It was just a great time.
Yeah, man. Like, for me, when I was in college, going to Marshall University, one of my homies, he also rapped. He was originally from New York. He was from Brooklyn, and he used to work at a record store. Yo, pardon me, 1 second, bro.
Okay. I want to get CJ the Kid. I'm sorry. Ill Magic. It's a big Crit independent mixtape albums are A plus. Absolutely. Absolutely. Big Crit is one of those as well. CJ the Kid, could we talk about the mixtape hosts like Cold Cheese, DJ Famous, Tape Masters Inc.? Love Tape Masters Inc. Tape Masters Inc. had an amazing run. Very stellar catalog for the Tape Masters Inc. Miss LB, $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Just want to show some love, support the brand movement. Thank you.
Thank you, LB.
Absolutely.
But yeah, what I was saying was when I was in college, man, one of my homies, he used to rap, but he was from Brooklyn. He worked at a record store, and I would come through and he would just like supply me with all the latest mixtapes. And it was like so many things. I'm glad you said it. The mixtapes had the artwork, and that's something that CJ the Kid specializes in. He's gonna sent us some stuff that, take it back to that aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? When the mixtape artwork was crazy.
Mhm.
Another thing we was looking for on the mixtapes, like you said, Sean, was the lineups. We was looking, we treated them like albums. So we was looking at who was on there, what freestyles, what disses was on there, and who had the best lineup. Nori even talked about this sometimes on Drink Champ. Like if you got first placement on a Clue tape, like if you was the opening song, that meant a lot, to an artist back
Facts.
then,
Facts.
So they were competing for placement. So it's not like, yo, I'm gonna just do this freestyle and, get this one off and hand it to Clue and that be that. No, you was competing like, yo, I'm trying to be track number one out the gate on a Clue tape. You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving it my best. This is not for my album, but I'm still giving it my best. It was highly competitive. And it was just a beautiful time, man. Like, and I missed that mixtape era. You know, it's something I wish, you know, it was lightning in a bottle, you know what I mean? But it's something that I could like, you know, that I wish that we could go back and experience again, man. Cause it was a fun time. It was a fun time.
Same here. I wish Coop was on here so I can flex on him. But I actually did like a 2-bar joint on a mixtape. Actually it was on J Love mixtape back in '97.
Did you say 2?
It was a 2-bar. It was quick.
2 bars is crazy.
I was 16, 17, man.
I don't even know if that gets credited.
I mean, you know, it was like, you know, the past predict the future for the presidents. Nah, let me relax. I don't want to. Let me go. I want to go there. Y'all ain't ready for that. That's the Patreon.
Yo, that's the equivalent. I remember when you know what I'm saying, on the Drake joint where Bun B came in and said, Drake, you got him right. Yeah, I got him. But that's all you said. Like, yo, that's the equivalent of that.
The crazy thing is the reason why it got stopped, it got pulled, because I mean, one of the bars I was like, I can't remember. It kind of embarrassing, but I was like, bad boy, what you gonna do? It was wow. The A&R was like, you can't do that. Like, this is not, you can't be dissing Bad Boy. And I wasn't really dissing Bad Boy. I was just on the play of words. And but yeah.
You was just ahead of your time.
Man, I was so far ahead of my time. I could start a new life.
That bar would be welcome in a lot of places right now.
So many places right now, straight up. But yeah, y'all don't want them bars. I'm going to spit them two bars for y'all real quick.
Having a mean 2 bars is crazy.
Yeah, but you see, when I start doing this right here, when you start doing this and you freestyling, that's when you know you into it. That's when you into it. Yo, CJ got another one.
Yo, shout out to CJ. Was mixtapes for a time only a East Coast thing? I remember when I moved to Florida in 2005 and I had a G Unit versus Dipset tape and people thought it was an album. Yeah. Nah, mixtape. I mean, we had mixtapes here in West Virginia, so it wasn't just, you know, mixtapes was everywhere as far as I know.
Everywhere. Even now is it a mixtape. You know, the nigga mixtape.
Yep. Around Untitled. Yeah, DJ Green Lantern.
DJ Green Lantern. And Green Lantern is a dope mixtape. I mean, he has some dope mixtapes.
One of the ones.
Shout out to Green Lantern.
He's still DJ for Nas to this day.
Yeah. Still, yeah. He's one of those ones.
Before we move on, how many takes did it take you to do those 2 bars? Like, if you couldn't do that in one take, that's crazy.
Bro, it was a freestyle. The reason why it was 2 bars because they cut everything else off because I was being flagrant. I was like 16 or 17 talking flagrant. And my uncle, man.
Oh, they cut. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to get the details. So they cut the rest of your verse. It left 2 bars.
Yeah.
So you kind of like inspect the deck on my mind made up, but I think the engineer just forgot to cut those other 2. He meant to cut the whole verse.
He was supposed to cut the whole verse,
but left 2 on accident.
Right. Let's see what I said. Yo, he can keep that. Y'all was talking crazy flagrant, man. You know what I mean? You know, it was a great time though. But,
I love your claim to fame stories, bro. Like that might be the best one.
I got so many of them, man. But wait till the Patreon, man. I'm gonna get on there, spit that freestyle from '97. I got the book somewhere around here. I don't know where it's at, but I got the rhyme book, man.
It's next to your photo in your drawer.
I got a disc record for you and Coop, actually.
I believe it. Yo, CJ, appreciate you. So those Tony Touch tapes were in Virginia from 90 to 99? Absolutely.
Yeah. Tony Touch was dope too.
Absolutely.
K Slade, I see Mel Bixby, K Slade, the drama king. Absolutely. The thing about it is when Beef, and we're going to transition here, man, I wish Coop was here. The Beef mixtapes were the ones that to me got the attraction. Because remember when Beef got like crazy, everyone took it to the mixtape circuit. Game capitalized off of it because he was able to do an entire, you know, like I think about 3 or 4 mixtapes where he's just dumping all over G Unit. Like
he went crazy.
it was crazy. Like Coop said, Street Sweepers, Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
Joints were going crazy because K Slade was the, God rest his soul, rest in peace to K Slade, but K Slade was the godfather of those beef mixtapes.
Mm-hmm.
And you think about it during that time, AG, especially in 2000 and 2001, when everything started like really ramping up, because we didn't really start seeing the true beef mixtapes until 2001, because that's when everything shaked out, because lines were drawn. You know what I mean? Either you were with Jay or you were with Nas. And if you were Jay, you were with Rockefeller, you were with
State Prop.
State Prop. You had that Philly movement that was behind them very heavy. Or you was on the Nas side where you had Ray out there, you had Kiss. X was on that other side, because at that time X was like, I want to give you the crown so I can shoot up fucking head.
Right.
Yeah, you heard what I said, so you had that going on. You had, Kiss and Beans kind of locking horns, and all of that stuff, all of those great disc records was on one space on a mixtape.
And I'm glad you brought that up, Sean, because sometimes we have revisionist history, right? On a mainstream scale, we'll get to J. Cole. I know that's the main event. That's what everybody's here for. But on a mainstream scale, the rapid fire that these diss tracks was being released at in real time between Drake and then, hours later getting to Kendrick, Meet the Grams, and then, next day, Not Like Us and stuff. And people's mind was like blown, because it's like with the internet and social media, everything is like instantaneous. But about it right off the bat. But this same thing was happening when Kiss and Beans were going at each other.
Mm-hmm.
Them dudes was at the studio every single night. Like, I was at the mixtape spot like every week, because they were dropping freestyles. They were getting played on the radio. They was getting released on Napster and I don't know if you remember Audio Galaxy, LimeWire, like all these joints was coming out like day after day after day. I even heard Budden talk about it on his podcast. He's like, when we was like at war, we was dissing, he was like, we would go to the studio. If we heard somebody else say something, we would go to the studio that night, and we wasn't worried about mixing and mastering, like the quality. We didn't care about that. We just had to be, prompt and get it out as fast as possible. What I'm saying, and put it on the tapes or whatever. So we've seen this before, but with social media not being a part of that back then, everybody wasn't in the know about it. But if you were if you were of the culture and were staying involved in the mixtape circuit or what have you, you knew that, all these joints was coming out back to back to back. The disses and the responses, like it was real rapid fire back then.
No, absolutely. And I loved it back then. And that kind of, goes back to, it was competitive,
mm-hmm.
but it was also personal. There weren't out there. You know what I mean? We're in an era of music where a lot of relationships were built early.
Mm-hmm.
They were on some I'm your friend type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And now when the beef happens, it's a personal hurt, which brings us to the Cole stuff, the Drake stuff, the Jay stuff, you know what I mean? The Kendrick stuff. Because back then when you had mixtape and you had, the battles, it was like, I'm going for your head top. I gotta take you up out of here. I can't let you get the best of me, because you're getting the best of me. Because back then the stakes were so high. If Nas had lost that battle, it could have changed the trajectory of his legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a situation where everything was like stacked up in a certain way, right? You had to be alive to understand. You had to be active to understand what that means. The stakes were high. You know what I mean? Even when, you think about when Beans and Kiss was going at each other, the stakes weren't that high, because they were both, budding stars in their own right.
I call that the undercard battle that year.
Undercard battle. That was the one that was peaking things a little bit, if you think about it, right? Because we didn't know where it came from. We knew it was Kiss saying, Philly, Philly owed me their style or whatever, I gave birth to Philly style. Beans took offense to that. We know the story. Everything is history. But if you really think about it, bro, and this is something that, and we're going to bring it back to the present day. Back then, there were some alliances out there,
Mhm.
but it was on some, I got to be, I have to have allegiance to you because I'm on your record label or we're collaborating a lot. You know what I
Right.
mean? Nas collaborated with Ray, Ghost, AZ, he
Mob.
was, yeah, they
Mhm.
had their mob, they had their own thing. Jay
Mhm.
was more on that Rockefeller wave. So he
Mhm.
had his crew love on that side.
Yep.
And when things started clashing, everything started scattering. You start seeing who was who,
Yeah.
what side are you on? You know what I mean? You're
Right.
not my friend because I don't really rock with you like that. I just collaborate with you. In today's hip hop, you got someone like Drake, you got someone like Cole who may have misread the room. You feel me?
Definitely misread the room.
Yes, he missed the room because if you think about it, I mean, he misread the room because you think about it, he thought that one of the things he thought they were friends. He thought that they were friends.
Mhm.
As Drake is looking at it like, yo, I got to be the number one guy. I want to be the goat of this thing.
Mhm.
Looking at it like, I just want to be friends. I
Mhm.
just want to be, rap buddies. You know what I mean? I want to collaborate.
Mhm.
Drake's mind is like, nah, homie, I want to take out Kendrick. I want to
Yeah.
take that guy out because I need for him to move. What Nas said, in order for Jay to be the Don, Nas had
Nas
to go.
had to go. Yeah.
Jay knew that too. In order for me to be the undisputed champ in hip hop, because it is competitive, I need to take him out. Because as
And
long as
Prodigy.
and Prodigy, because as long as they're here, as long as he's here, and as long as Prodigy's here, people are going to have that conversation. I don't
Mhm.
want that conversation to be had anymore. I want
Right.
to be number one.
Mhm.
So I said a lot. I want to get your thoughts on that.
No, I agree 1,000%. Cole definitely didn't read the room correctly because to your point, Drake's a petty guy. And him and Kendrick have been sending subs back and forth for a long time. And, Kendrick made it known that he wanted that smoke. And Cole thought he wanted in the midst of that battle as well. But I think Cole came at it, Cole saw them slinging mud and didn't want to get dirty. He was like, I got this, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to get dirt on my clothes or whatever. He alluded to in the bars on the new song that we're going to talk about that they got both of their blood on him, you know?
Fact.
But I don't think he knew what that entailed when he initially entered the beef, because if we're looking at a track record of Cole, him apologizing really is kind of consistent with how he moved in other situations. I wouldn't call him beast, but when he dissed No Name on Snow at the Bluff, he ended up retweeting her response and then pretty much apologizing about how he came at her. When he dissed Lil Pump, he ended up sitting down with Lil Pump and having a productive, conversation with him. So I don't think Cole has ever been that guy to engage in a beef and, really want to take it to a dirty place where it's like the gloves is off. You know what I mean? Because think about how weird and corny it would have looked, if Cole came into the beef on some rapidy rap type stuff like, yo, I got more bars than Kendrick, blah, 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 better flow, your last album was a dud, this and that. Meanwhile, they throwing Drake and Kendrick throwing crazy allegations at one another, like, yo, you're a woman beater, yo, you're a pedophile. Like, they're really, going after character assassination.
Mhm.
Cole didn't want that. He wasn't on that kind of time. He wanted to say, who is the better rapper? Who is the best with the pen? And he found out that the battle wasn't going to go in that direction, so he bowed out of it. And we were talking on the phone earlier today, and I was just like, yo, that's like both of us, if me and you were boxers, right? And, I'm saying I'm the nicest with the hands or whatever, but I'm thinking about everybody else in the field, like, yo, I'm the nicest, I'll knock anybody out. And then you saying, you my homie, but you saying yourself, like, wait a minute now, I'm the nicest with the hands, I'll knock anybody out. So we both can't be the nicest, so let's get in the ring. And I'm
Mhm.
still thinking you my man, and I'm jabbing and I'm pulling my punches, but you throwing haymakers at me. And I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. I'm thinking we doing some friendly sparring here just to see who's the best technical boxer or whatever, but you trying to knock my head off. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the angle that Kendrick came from. Kendrick was like, all right, Cole, you know what I'm saying? If you stepping in the ring, be prepared because, you know, I'm not taking any prisoners. But Cole was like, wait a minute, I don't want to lose, you know, our brotherhood, our friendship. I'm Switzerland. I respect and, you know, like both of you guys, let me take myself out of the situation. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, he realized that in real time. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I think I said this on one of our first shows. And, you know, shout out to my girl, you know what I'm saying? She was the one that told me that. Like when Cole was popping stuff about being the best, you know, maybe he was trying to convince himself. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that self-affirmation talk. And when he was talking about being better or killing these other rappers, honest to God, I don't think he meant in a battle or going back and forth because he's not of that pedigree. But I think he meant in the respect of like, yo, if we get on a track together and I'm a featured artist, then I'm going to have the better verse. I'm going to show you up that I'm the better MC. And that I think that's where his mindset was. But if it comes down to stepping in the ring and going mano a mano, he's made it clear that that's not his bag or his pedigree because he don't want to take it somewhere where other people are willing to go. He did it from a friendship aspect. But say, for instance, I talked to you about this earlier. Like MGK did what he had to do against M, but he idolized Eminem. Right. But like Drake said, sometimes you gotta AI. You know, when your idols become rivals, you gotta AI them for your survival. Like MGK did what he had to do against M, and if you ask me, I think MGK won that battle. But
absolutely.
I mean, the public won't say that, but MGK had reverence for M and did what he had to do. Some people are willing to mix it up, regardless of the relationship that's at stake, and some people aren't. And just Cole just happens to be one of those people that's not willing to mix it up and risk the relationship. And he alluded to that, and I can respect that, you know, now as far as him, you know, articulating that from his vantage point.
I don't know. I don't respect it. I don't disrespect it. I mean, again, I'm indifferent regardless. Okay. Because like you said, Cole thought that, I'm just assuming here, he assumed that him and Drake had a different relationship. Mm-hmm. He probably felt that him and Kendrick had a relationship. He probably felt like, okay, I'm going to jump out the window real quick on Kendrick because I kind of feel this way because I'm getting pressured to say these things. Mm-hmm. I may not really mean it. There might be some truth to what I'm saying about, you know, the last album was trash or whatever the case may be. I'm going to jump out the window on Kendrick. And then he started realizing that, okay, maybe that wasn't the right idea because Drake has this that he's going to go at Kendrick with. And it's going to dirty everything up. Mm-hmm. Because Cole wants to make it just a rap battle. He just want to go rappity rap. He just want to see who had the best skills, who can get on the mic and do their thing. Yep. He prides himself on being the one that kills the features. That's what he prides himself on, mm-hmm. right? Not only that, he feels that if I get on the track with any of these guys, I can hold my own. And in some cases, I can smoke both of their boots. But when it started getting nasty, he don't want no parts of that because he didn't want to be a part of the whatever was going to come out of that on the other side of that. And I think that's where he misread the room.
He did.
I'm going to pause real quick with that because we got some super chats coming in. I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole. Mad Max.
Appreciate you, Max. He said, laugh out loud. Only problem with your comparison, Sean, is Nas and P popped off before Hove. Drake basically put Dot on. Drake basically put Dot on. Dot is the Hove in this situation. Drake would actually be Nas. I disagree.
I disagree, Mad Max. I disagree.
Mad Max, again, appreciate you. Nas dissed Cormega on Destroy and Rebuild. Is what Cole's saying, damn that friendship ish, boom your mans and turn your head when you end them, like the Sahara, two lions can't own the pride and peace. Yeah. I mean one of them gotta go, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, go on your opposite end of the Sahara. Just don't be in
Yeah,
the same. Don't be in the same
yeah.
area. But
But
again, it goes back to knowing your place, though.
right,
It's about knowing. It's not knowing where you at. He keeps saying that he's okay with being the middle child. He's okay being the third guy, right? He's okay with that. But you can't jump out the window and then retract and then go back and start valid. I guess trying to clean it up or trying to justify why you pull back. If that makes sense. Like he's
yeah,
trying to. I felt this is him justifying why
yes.
he did what he did.
I think that Cole, one of his superpowers and his abilities is to get introspective and be able to articulate his thoughts very well, right? And I
Yeah,
think he did that on this track. Can I get into some of the bars real quick to allude to what you were saying?
yeah.
Um, he said at one part, he said, to be considered the best or live and rest, the weight of both things. I understand the thirst of being first that made them both swing. Protecting legacy, so lines got crossed, perhaps regrettably. My friends went to war. I walked away with all their blood on me. Now some discredit me, try to wipe away my pedigree, but please find a nigga out here that's rapping this incredibly. So he's saying like, I'm still the nicest with the pen, even though people are going to discredit me for not engaging in this. And, I took the moral high ground or whatever. But with all that said, I still think I'm the nicest with the pen. And I can't be mad at him for that. But he just wasn't willing to prove it mano a mano when it comes to stepping in the ring, you know. But to your point, he said if he used the metaphor that he said his homie texted him. If you refuse to shoot the gun, doesn't mean the gun ain't deadly. But then he said later on, he said the gun ain't what I'm trying to be. So he's telling him like, yo, I understand your metaphor. I'm not shooting the gun, so the gun ain't that doesn't mean the gun ain't deadly, but I'm not trying to be a gun. I'm not trying to like spread negativity, violence, or whatever. So I'm not even on that kind of time, you know.
What time is he on then? What kind
I
of time
guess
is
just making good music. Bro wants to be Switzerland. He obviously wants to be cool with everybody because he said his piece to Kendrick in the song as well as saying his piece to Drake. And he don't want no smoke with either one of them. You know what I mean? And I think he learned that lesson in real time because sometimes you think you want a certain challenge in life and then that life come and hit you in the face like Mike Tyson said, everybody got a plan until you get punched in the mouth, right?
but that's
And
what I'm
then
saying.
that, you know what I'm
He missed
saying?
the room.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then in real time, he learned the lesson. But he talked about like social media and the memes and all that stuff. And, some people might say like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Cole don't got thick skin. A lot of people don't, you know what I mean? But we live in an era where, everything is going to get scrutinized or what have you. And he didn't want no parts of that. You know what I'm saying? So I think he was able to articulate all that well, and I think he just wants to make good music. And I'm glad he released this song as a Lucy, to just put it out there because everybody was waiting for him to address this, right? And some people are going to take it for what it is. Some people are going to say, I still don't rock with you, whatever. But I'm just glad it's out here because now he could put out the fall off. I'm not thinking this is going to be on the album. Yeah, I think it
Okay.
would be a mistake if it was because I think he needs to let the album live on its own merit and not have this stain attached to it that has to do with him apologizing in the battle. Even though he cooked on this record, like when you sent me the track, and before I pressed play on it, you know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, let me gear up to listen to it. Then I pressed play and I heard the melody, you know what I'm saying, from the Dead President sample. And I was like, yo, he better be talking on here. Once I heard that melody, I was like, bro better be talking. And to me, he did. He delivered because everybody wanted a response from him, right? And we
Yeah.
got that, and we got that in a masterful way that you could either take it or you could leave it. You know what I'm saying? And I mess with it. You know what I'm saying?
I like the record. I never, you would never hear me question Cole's pen. I
Mm-hmm.
think Cole is one of the dopest MCs. The only thing that I don't like when he did let Nas down when he was like, You owe me, dog. Thought you could relate. I didn't like that. I thought it was sneak jab, but that's neither here nor there.
No, that was those the best records. I love those reverence tracks where they're jabbing at the person they love. Like, Big Brother is like that. Kanye was jabbing at Jay, and then Slaughtermouse is like that. Joe was going at Eminem all while giving them props. I love tracks like that.
I didn't like
but that's me.
Queens get the money. This is real talk. I wish, because I saw a clip of Jar losing his shit. And I wish that I wish Coop wasn't on Soul Plane right now. And I would wish to get Coop and Jar on here just to let their blood pressure go through the roof on live and see them crash out together. Because I'm hearing people talk about the way Cole took this whole thing and how this track. And I thought he was going to get love. When I first heard it, I was like, okay, they're going to show love. And I called one of my homies, shout out to Dre. He's from Charlotte, big Cole fan. He's been a Cole fan before, since inception. And he said, I didn't like it. He said, because it's too indecisive. He don't know what he wants. He wants to be friends, but he don't know what that friendship looked like. Because even in this record, he mentioned, like, Drake, you're still my friend. You're still asking for friendship when these guys are not asking for friendship, my dude. They're not looking at you for a friend. They're looking at you. You are food right now, like, because I think I told you earlier, Drake want to be number one.
Absolutely.
He doesn't care about anything else. He wants to be number one. Kendrick doesn't really care about number one. He just cares about being ahead of Drake.
No, he does. He cares about being number one.
There's a difference. He cares about being ahead of Drake.
Kendrick cares about being number one ahead of Drake and being mentioned with the all-time greats. I think Kendrick's plight is a little different.
Not with the same fervor as Drake. See what I'm saying? Like, as long as I'm ahead of him, I don't care where everything else falls.
Yeah, and I think Cole doesn't care about any of that.
No, Cole is a rapper. He is a rapper's rapper. He's the one that he really loves. He really loves rap. He loves hip hop. He really loves it. So I can tell this is tearing him out. Like, I don't know Cole personally, I don't know his personality, character, whatever, but I can imagine that he's torn personally and internally, because he's looking at it like he dropped 4 joints already in the past couple of weeks now, right? Last 4 weeks. This is his 4th Lucy. And he's talking around different subject matters to try to bring back the feel that he is still Cole, which we know what you can do on a mic. That's not the question. The question is, who are you at this point? Because that braggadocious style that you had before, that person can't come out and play no more.
Right.
Person can't. You can't.
I'm glad your homie said that to you, because I got a question for you and I don't know the answer. And we talked about this earlier when it came to Nas, when Jay was like, nudging him to get into the battle. You know what I'm saying? It was sub-cent for years. Does indifference come off as weakness? That's the question.
Not really.
Because to that point about Cole, I think with a lot of this stuff, he thought he wanted to be the number one guy, but he didn't know what he had to do to get there, and he didn't want to sling mud. So now he's indifferent about it. I think Nas initially Nas was still indifferent after he beat Jay. You know what I'm saying? He was like, he didn't care about having the crown.
Let's get these super chats. Because I like where you're going with this. Marquise, appreciate you, man.
Marquise with the $20 joint. Yo, appreciate you. He said Cole acted out of character. The man is basically 40 years old. He realized that and said, "Let me get back in character." He became who we became by being the person who he was the last 10 years. He just raps. Yeah, and that's and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna get LB. Then I got something else to add on that. Shout out to Ms. LB. We appreciate you. She said, "Oh, back to Ms. LB."
No.
Yeah, there you go. I listened to Let Go My Hand today, and I got a thought. Did we miss or skip over Cole telling us he was never that type of dude since the beginning? I keep a tough demeanor on the surface. Yeah, that's my point. And I said, my girl said the same thing. Cole was lying to himself. Bro was trying to convince himself. And another point to that, we're all human and we all have human emotions, right? Everybody's been in a relationship where, whether it be a friendship or a spouse or whatever, where, everything is not being reciprocated, or, what I'm saying? Like you said, Sean, like Cole's looking at him like, these are my friends, what I'm saying? These are my brothers. They probably don't look at Cole like that. But we've all had homies like, we might have, what I'm saying? That's my dog. I do whatever. And your homie over there, like, what I'm saying? I don't mess with, you know what I mean? Like, we've all had relationships like that. Unfortunately, that's a human thing. So he probably has that desire to be linked with them more so than they him. But, that's the type of person Cole is, evidently. And he had to learn that about himself.
What does this do for him right now at this point? Because I'm seeing that a lot of the conversations on socials and everything, it's a lot of mixed feelings right now. It's not unanimous. It's not like everyone is saying, "Oh, this is it." I'm starting to see more people saying, "Man, Cole is done," or like
it depends on what kind of cloth you cut from. You know what I'm saying? But Cole is a smart dude, and like I said, he articulated it in the bars, and you could take it or leave it. If you was like heavy on the side, like, yo, I disrespect what Cole did, I don't think this song is gonna like bring you around to changing your mind. And if you had an open mind to begin with, like, yo, Cole really let me down by apologizing, but I would just kind of like to know why he did that. Jada said that, like, when Jada was on, one show, I forget what it was, Jada was like, I just want to know why. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I'll learn more, about why he did it, and I can make an opinion from there. But I'd like to hear him say why. And, Styles P was conflicted. He was like, yo, the rapper in me wanted to go, but, I'm saying, the mental health guy understand where he was coming from. So I think it's a very polarizing thing still yet. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, the message is there. Just to get into some more bars real quick. In the first verse, he said, I've seen, and this is one of my favorite bars. He said, I've seen lifelong friends turn to devilish ops. I was Mike in red leather trying to tell him to stop. You better beat it before you see the heavy metal get popped. He was talking about somebody he came up with, but it's another metaphor in there. Because, Kendrick and Drake, they went back and forth. Shout out to Coop talking about Prince at the beginning of the show. But there was a lot of back and forth in the Drake and Kendrick battle, them pointing fingers like, no, you Mike, I'm Prince. No, you Prince, I'm Mike, back and forth. But Cole, inserts himself here, with this bar saying, I'm Mike in red leather, what I'm saying? And the Beat It video. The Beat It video was Mike trying to stop two rival gangs from going at it. You know what I'm saying? And he's in the middle of them, and everybody came in, with harmony at the end and did the little dance number. So I think Cole really thought in his head that we're going to spar on some rap stuff, see who's the best, and then afterwards we're going to kumbaya and bring each other out in concerts and feature on each other's tracks, and that's going to be that. But, to use your word, Sean, Kendrick and Drake were preparing for a higher level of warfare that Cole wasn't.
He was.
But then he goes on, the second verse, I pulled the plug because I've seen where that was about to go. They wanted blood. They wanted clicks to make their pockets grow. They see the fire in my pen and think I'm dodging smoke. I wouldn't have lost the battle, dog. I would have lost a bro. I would have gained the foe, all for what? Just to attain some more. Like, so obviously he's not willing to throw away his friendship and brotherhood with Kendrick and or Drake just for the sake of winning the battle and saying I got the props to be, number one or whatever. He's not willing to do that. And I was, and I'll pass it back to you after this. I was talking to my homie this morning, and he said, I think the best takeaway from this is I brought up indifference. I think one of the best takeaways from this is just to be indifferent, I guess, because, you can still feel the same way you felt about Cole before he articulated his reason for doing it. But I think this is something you still got to respect. I don't think it changes his position any, because when he relinquished that by not engaging in battle one-on-one, I don't think you can objectively put him Even if you think he's a better technical rapper, yes. But in the ranks, I don't think you can objectively put him over Drake or Kendrick at this point because he forfeited. You could say if he would have played, he would have won, but we'll never know because he forfeited. But you got to respect the move in him telling this, telling his reasoning for doing that. Because my homie was like, look, man, and shout out to my homie Mike in Greensboro. He was just like, look, he said, it's like if a guy cheats on his wife or whatever and comes clean, like, yo, baby, you know what I'm saying? I did this, and I feel like I need to be honest to you. You know what I'm saying? And then the wife might say, you know what? I appreciate your honesty. I really respect that you did that. But me and the kids, we still bouncing. We still leaving you. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, the repercussions can still be there. But all I'm saying is, respect what he did and being able to articulate his move.
Yes and no. This is hip hop. It's a context. It's a context sport. Right?
Absolutely.
Saying you playing football and you're a linebacker, but you don't want to hit the running back or the wide receiver when they get the ball.
Right.
Because you don't want to take them down. You just want to make sure that you stop them in their tracks, but you don't want to hurt them. Right. It's a contact sport.
Mm-hmm.
Because hip hop is so aggressive, because the nature of hip hop is competitive, you can still compete. You don't have to sling mud. You don't have to do all of that.
I think he would have looked goofy because they would have been doing something else and he would have been over here like, hey, like, go bar for bar with me. Like it went somewhere else.
So be it. So let's relate that to real life then, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got some people that can walk in a room that has a certain aura that command the room.
Absolutely.
Right? And you have others, put like this. It's like that beta syndrome, right? Where betas want to be, you want to be alphas until they're in a room full of alphas.
Bingo.
Right?
Yes.
And that beta get into that room and they're barking. And a bunch of alphas looking at him like, they're paying this guy no attention. And they keep talking to one another, right? And that beta's still barking loud and they're getting louder. And just because you're getting louder doesn't mean you're an alpha. You don't belong in this circle.
Mm-hmm. No,
right?
you spitting facts right now. I think Cole found out in real time that he is not an alpha. But the caveat is he's saying here that he's okay with that. Now, if the people are okay with that, that's another story. But he himself is okay with that.
Is he? Because he's also saying I could have won.
No, I don't think he said that.
What did he say? He said that
he said I wouldn't have lost the battle. I think that play on words is more so saying like, forget winning or losing the battle. I would have lost something that meant more to me, which is my friendship with Kendrick or whatever. I don't think he's saying I wouldn't have lost. I don't think that's what he's saying.
They're not your friends. They're not your friends.
He don't know that. Usually the side that's everybody's been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you would be the dirtbag that would be the other side of that. Like, you already mess with that nigga like that.
Right. Because you got to look, man, there's a lot of suckers out there, right?
It is. That's a fact.
And you got to be able to call that sucker stuff out. Like, yo, look, he's not your friend. I've had my homie. I was like, yo, he's not in our crew. He's not part of this. He's not cut from my cloth.
Right.
And we still accept him, but we accept him in this manner because he's not part of this cloth. He's not going to get down when things get down. You feel me?
I think Kendrick knows that because I think that's why Kendrick was let Cole slide like after the whole apology and thing. It didn't say nothing else about Cole because I think Kendrick knew that going in. Kendrick knew about Cole what Cole didn't know about himself, if you will.
That's interesting. They get the super chat. This is cool.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it, Coop, with the $5 super chat. Is this the beginning of the album rollout? If not, what is? Does it matter at this point? I hope this is not on the album. I think the album needs to be its own separate entity.
It would be. I can't see this being on the album. I don't even know if this is a rollout. I think this is just Cole getting all this off his chest.
He has to.
Bothering him. I think all of this is still bothering him. He has to get it off of his chest because we're talking about we're several months removed from all of that. He deleted the joint that he had at Kendrick.
The
Right?
fact that the album's called Might Delete Later is still hilarious and ironic. That's crazy.
You're riding on electronic bikes.
I knew you was going there.
I can't help it. So he's just all over the place right now. I still think the album is going to be a really great album. We can't sit here and say Cole's pen is in question. We can't say that his style, what he brings to the game of hip hop, we can never say that's in question. We can't say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If anything, and again, I'm just saying from my opinion, from reading the comments, and we appreciate all the love tonight. Thank you all for the comments. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the engagement. But what I'm seeing from everyone, for most of the people out there, they can't respect the weakness.
Right.
Because this is hip hop. This is not R&B. This is not a docile genre of music. This is an aggressive nature of music. We have too much history in this genre of music to state that there are times you got to take it there.
Mm-hmm.
There are times you can't, like you said earlier, Nas wasn't asking for those things in 2001, but he knew he had to take it there. There's no way around it.
Had to. Yeah.
Times you may have to confront somebody in your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And Cole's not like that. That's why I use those other examples about Lil Pump and No Name and stuff. He's just never been that. And I asked myself this question, and I still think the answer is no. Like, I asked myself this question, like, well, what if it wasn't Kendrick and Drake? What if it was a different group of characters and he found himself in a situation? Would he still take himself, out of it or engage? Like, what I mean? What if it was well, no, I'm gonna answer my own question. Wale, he considers Wale a close friend, and he went at Wale, before, and they were cool afterwards. But he went at Wale. He's went at Kanye, and I mean he walks back a lot, but this is the biggest walk back. But this is not the first time he's walked something back. And in that regard, he's a very conflicted individual. I think somebody super chatted, he can't make his mind up, and you alluded to it. He doesn't know what he wants to be. But, after all this, I mean, he just got to be comfortable in his own skin. Like, whatever placement he's at, and, it's competitive, you conceded to get in that top spot. So that's over with.
Exactly.
That's over with. So, even if he drops a classic, I know, shout out to Coop. He says if he drops his Cuban Links or something like that can change things. I don't think it can. I don't think it shifts his placement, but it maybe garners him more respect in certain circles that don't have it for him right now. But
no doubt. I saw Kenny Mack. Kenny Mack said Cole is a sucker MC.
That's dope. He brought it back full circle to the beginning.
I was just saying that earlier, like, sucker MCs out here. Yeah, sucker MC for that. I don't know, man. We got to see what happens. I think this is, to Coop's point, I don't know if this is a rollout or not. I don't know. I think this is just who Cole is. I don't think Cole is like the rollout guy. I don't think so either. But let me ask you a question. He addressed it full on. Is this enough? Like I said, you could take it or you could leave it. But as far as just the aspect of addressing it, do you leave it alone after this, or do you touch on that topic some more within the course of the Fall Off album, or do you move on completely? Man, how can you? I mean, does it feel like closure? Does it feel like closure to you?
I don't think he has to say anything else about it.
But the thing about it is he comfortable with that kind of closure? Because
I think it could hurt the album if he does it. I'll use an example. When Drake lost to Pusha, he retooled the whole Scorpion double album, like recorded a lot of tracks, a lot of, vocals, rewrote verses and stuff. And if you listen to that whole album is centered around reacting to how the beef and the battle went down, reacting to Kanye's part that he played in it, reacting to what Pusha said. I'm not hiding the kid from the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not hiding the child or whatever. And to me, that brought down the quality of what the album could have been, because he's spending the time reacting to that throughout the whole album. And I don't think Cole should do that.
He still the album was successful. A lot of people
Well,
consider
Drake could fart on the record. It's still going to move units. Like, so.
Yeah, but as far as critically acclaimed, a lot of people love that Scorpion album. That album had some.
I don't know about all that.
It had some hits on it that actually moved it. It was like a lot of joints. Remember the Kiki joint, Kiki?
Yeah.
Went crazy, right?
Yeah.
So he followed it up with something that wasn't like trash, right? So the follow-up, and going back to what Coop always said, he has to follow this up with a stellar album. This
we're in a what have you done for me society. So
yes, we got a couple of super chats.
It's not going to shift it. He did that. It's not going to put him ahead of Cole or Kendrick. He forfeited that.
Yeah, he forfeited that. But he's thinking that he can still rapidy rap, and it's going to change the narrative or change the opinions. And again, he's misreading the room. Let's super chat real quick.
Shout out to Nino Brown with the $5 super chat. Do we disregard on the side talk? Stop acting like niggas don't be shooting at each other there for years. Yeah, I mean, they do.
Yeah. They do all the time. That's what they do.
Yeah, Marquise Davis, $10 super chat. Says, I don't agree with that. Biggie really did not respond to Tupac. That's a fact. And I'm a big fan. Think he's the greatest. And please do not say Who Shot Ya or The Ugliest with Busta Rhymes. That was not released. Yeah, and we give Big a pass for that. And, in real time, when I was a teenager, we never know when these things are recorded. When I heard, Long Kiss Goodnight, I thought that was nasty work. Love the record. It's a dope record, but I'm like, you record this after man's got killed? Like, you know what I'm saying? You didn't say nothing when he was here breathing? Like, you know what I'm saying? I looked at that like in real time. Like, yo, that's nasty work. But it was a dope record though. But Big get a pass for that.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one. We got another one.
Anthony Patterson, appreciate you with the $5 super chat. Cole need to get around some real ones and not give, a F about who says what. We don't know him in real life. Make music and keep pushing. I think that's what he's doing. Sean, let me ask you this. What's worse, just not responding altogether or engaging, like, sticking your toe in the water to check the temperature and then, pulling your foot back out? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because he did drop a record. It wasn't that great. It was pretty good, but it was all right. But when it wasn't great, didn't get the reaction he wanted. So then he pulled the record. Would we have more respect for Cole if he didn't engage at all? Because there's been a lot of times where people just didn't engage. Because Budden was going at, Drake's, he released the whole diss EP to Drake and, killed him on them joints. But Drake didn't think it was worth his time to respond. So he didn't respond. But nobody holds that against Drake.
Not responding creates ambiguity. With ambiguity, you cannot identify if there's an issue.
Okay.
If I'm being honest with you. If you keep things ambiguous, the fans don't have anything much to say. All they can say is he's not responding. But responding to what, though? Keep in mind, he jumped out there.
He did. I think that was more to his detriment, that if he wouldn't have released anything, I think he would be better off. I mean, a lot of people ain't forgot that Pusha never responded back to that Jim Jones song that was not good.
I forgot about it. Goon, Jim, he never
now
responded.
We still supposed to get a Clips album, so if we get a response this late, it'll be kind of crazy. But
AG, it goes back to, like I said before, some people can walk in that room and command that respect, where you can say, you know what, he don't have to say anything. I know what he can do.
And Kendrick is one of those guys, and Cole isn't. And it's just what it is.
Some people have to walk in the room and talk loud just so they can be heard.
Yeah.
You dig what I'm saying? And on the back.
And you know, and let me be real. Drake is one of those too, because you know, I think he commands a certain level of respect because of his willingness to get in the ring with anybody. Like, and Cole don't got that.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, related to real life.
Yeah.
This they're going through this right now, right? It's on a borderline if it's entertainment or if it's personal at this point. Don't forget about Drake. You know, Drake hasn't really responded to anything, right? Only thing he's doing is going on TikTok and memes and all of these things. Like, he posted a joint with Aaliyah, God bless the dead, and posted a picture of Solange for Jay.
When she gave Jay the beats in the elevator. Let's talk about that. Like the weird relationship. We talked about friends, air quotations. Let's talk about the weird relationship that Jay and Drake got.
Let's get this super chat. What's up, Tracy?
Oh,
G?
yo, what up, Tracy G? Appreciate the super chat. After this whole beef and everything that has been done, it is safe to say that things that Drake and Cole said went over a lot of casual fans' head. Drake saw years ago Dot was a cloud chaser after Control. He did say that. And Cole alluded to that on 7 Minute Drill. He said we wouldn't even be talking about you if we wasn't beefing. So I mean, it's a lot of truth to what Cole said, but he just walked it back.
Yeah. But see, again, it goes back to me in the room. What fight do you want to get into? Who do you want to fight at this point? Who do you want to get at this point? Right? And while Cole is doing this, Kendrick is doing his thing. Now you got Drake. He's on a cover of a Drake magazine doing fly fishing. He's doing the cover art with OVO camp. I think Coop was in that picture. Actually, Coop was in the background.
No, he wasn't.
Coop was in that picture with the OVO picture that they got with
Coop's not here, so I'm gonna say he still needs his leather, because this is the juncture where Coop would say, "I still need my butter soft OVO leather." I don't remember. He said he wanted blue. He said not Carolina blue, Duke blue and the white. Yeah, he said so. You know, shout out to Coop, because he would say that at this juncture. Tracy G with the $5 super chat. Cole picked a side, and he said as much. Real Cole fans know. I think Cole is doing him now. Right.
Yeah, absolutely, Tracy. I think that the crazy thing is, all this stuff is going on. There's so much happening right now. There's a lot of pieces on the chessboard right now, because you got Drake saying, "I don't have friends, like fake friends or whatever at the concert," right? He's talking about real friends, right? Again,
yo, they said, "Is that his voice?"
Who?
Yeah, Drake. Drake's voice was wild. He sounded like Jay-Z on the radio after Ether, man. Like he was
like,
Drake's voice didn't have no bass in it when he said that, bro.
You're like, yo, I just don't understand. Box. He went to box now. We could do a pay-per-view in box. he was hurt. Somebody want to do a pay-per-view in box now. That was crazy. But fun times. But Drake, the thing about it is, man, he's talking about he don't have friends, and now he's posted the pictures of Solange and Aaliyah, just some wild stuff. You're not putting out music right now as far as like response or what have you. And the crazy thing about that, AG, and again, I related to real life. I related to real things. If we are in a part of a crew, each member of that crew may have a different relationship with each other.
Absolutely.
Right? Cole and Drake may have a different relationship than Cole and Kendrick, Drake and Kendrick, whatever that may look like.
Absolutely.
In all regard, the three of them don't have the same relationship at all.
Mm-hmm.
Drake is saying, people who I thought were my friends did not, pull up with me when I was going through all of this stuff. And I wonder if that threw him off to the point right now where, like you said, now he's doing subliminals allegedly at Jay for whatever reason, because he feel like everyone chose a side.
I mean, right? Jay did pick Kendrick to do the Super Bowl, so I think that's pretty clear.
Right. But if you think about it, is this not a page out of Jay's book where Jay said, when the grass is cut, the snakes show? I got to think no harmonize with that, though. He was crying on that song.
Yo, when he called Jungle guard, that was crazy.
Guard to me. He was like crying on that song. So he was saying, of course, at that time too, those who I thought that was on my side they weren't on my side. They
Right.
just waited for the right moment when I'm vulnerable, in a sense, to attack. I think
Right.
that's what Drake is going through right now. He's in a vulnerable state because he lost the battle. When he lost the battle to Push, it wasn't that
He
scary.
bounced back quick.
He bounced back pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
Because Push didn't have the gravitas and the fanfare as a Kendrick,
Mhm.
right? So you lose to the guy that you want to beat. I don't think he cared about beating Push because he know bar for bar he can't spar with Push. There's
Right.
no way. He could have never thought that. He went into this thinking that, yo, I really can beat Kendrick.
He
Because
don't respect Kendrick on that level. He don't look at Kendrick like that.
he doesn't, because he's saying Kendrick is fake. Y'all holding this guy to this high regard, but I'm telling you, he's not like that.
And he don't even think Kendrick's the better rapper. Like, I mean, Drake literally thinks he's better than Kendrick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And his strategy backfired, and no one was on his side during that time. Even the people that he thought that was rocking with him in some capacity.
Like YG, and then YG was on the pop out stage.
Yes, everybody. Then you got Ross coming out with something.
Yes,
or he get beat up in Canada. So you got those things happening. Jay not really reaching out and giving maybe counsel or advice in that moment, and Jay, doing the Super Bowl thing with Kendrick. All these things are happening around him. The guy that he did the song with, First Person Shooter, pulls out of the fight. You know what I mean? Retracts everything. So now you on an island. You're on an island. Everybody's getting your backing right now from social media, which is really 80% of that is social media. But then you got that monster over there still stomping on you and not like us, still stomping on your grave at this point. And no one is saying anything for you.
We've all been in, well, most of us have been in fights, and we've seen different kind of fights or been involved in something. And I think, just kind of use a analogy. To me, Cole, what he did was, he stole on Kendrick and thought it was going to be a one-hitter quitter. Kendrick was just still standing there and didn't even swing back on him yet. And then Cole was like, yo, I'm sorry. Remember when, like, on the Avengers joint where Hulkbuster was punching Hulk, and then he stopped, he was like, yo, I'm sorry. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think it was like that. He didn't want was to come after that.
No.
On the Drake side of things, I think it was one of those situations where you think you crew deep, you know what I'm saying? And you run into, your ops, so to speak. And it started off 1v1, you shooting a fair one, him and Kendrick, but other random people are jumping in, like, snuffing you.
Yes.
And you looking around and your crew is nowhere to be found. And you looking at them like, yo, why ain't y'all help me? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm getting jumped, the whole 20v1 thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's more Drake has come to that realization. And I'm sure he, like Santa Claus, made a list and checked it twice and know all those cats. And, there's not going to be no more Drake stimulus packages as far as like jumping on features and doing these records with these people. He's not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? But I did think him saying that on stage showed some, you got in your bag talking about Cole looking weak. I'm saying that Drake looked weak in that moment because Drake very much is like Jay, and they're the cool guys. And like, you usually never see him sweat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drake getting on stage like, yo, anybody ever lost a real friend? Like, and you know who your real friends are, but somebody gonna stab you in the back. I mean, to me, that was like a sign of weakness. Like, even if he was feeling that inherently, don't get on stage and say that. And it was even more embarrassing because if you watch the footage, it's like they ain't even listening to Buddy. Like, he's, everybody's like talking over him and stuff like that. So granted, he's in his feelings, but I don't think you go on stage and voice that. You're supposed to still be, he's supposed to be unbothered, right? I mean, that's what they've been, Yachty said, and what Drake was saying, like, this is not phasing them, but it's evidently taking a toll on them. But Absolutely. You don't get on stage and then let everybody know that. You know what I'm saying? Whether if it was your friends that betrayed you or not, you don't go on stage and do that.
AG is bothering him. Hold up, we got a couple of super chats.
CJ with the $20 holler. Yo, man, we really appreciate you. I want to say is here at Hip Hop Talks, all my real friends are definitely in the building. Proceed to play me, myself, and I, and many men. Nasty work. Laugh out loud. Yo, appreciate you, CJ the Kid.
Bro.
Yo, we got MJ with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Hip hop fans will never give Drake the title of GOAT of this generation because he would never make a full hip hop album. Yeah, I think that's to his detriment.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you cooked that one, bro. Honestly, it's crazy because you're right. I mean, Drake came out there and he's hurt. Have you ever had a friend that hurt you?
Absolutely.
And you like, yo, I got to shake this.
Right.
I can't believe this happened. I've been there. My ace, I'm like, yo, he crossed the line. And I had to shake it. I was in a funk for a minute because I was torn on, do I put hands on him? You know what I mean? Or just let him, we just have to part ways.
Right.
And it was tough. I wrestled with that for a while. You know what I mean?
Is this the same instance you was talking about? You referenced the song Trust by Nas for that situation?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we were crew. We were crew. It was like, it was one of those things where you feel like you got an A-alike. And the whole time you didn't think that this person would be competing with you when you're not competing with them. And I think with Drake, when you think about, when I say compete, you got friends out there that will compete with you and you don't even know it.
Absolutely.
Everything that you do, they're trying to do it at a higher clip.
Yep.
You be like, I just took a trip to the moon. This if I just took a trip to Mars. You know what I mean? Just some weird stuff.
Yep.
You see a lot because you think about the Drake dynamic, the Jay dynamic, the Cole, all of these dynamics, everyone is running a separate race, but they're on the same path. You feel me? And they may not cross those paths that much, but the end game is to be the one, regardless. Yes. So they're all going to meet in the middle some kind of way. Drake thought that him being on that path was going to put him in a position where he was going to be championed, right? And that's a different feeling because when you feel like you're about to be championed as the one, like people are going to have your back and say, yo, let me bring it back real quick. Think about like this, bro. And we got to get up out of here real soon. The people that clap for you, that want to see you do well, that's happy for you, when you got promoted to director at your practice and your friends reach out to you, be like, yo, you inspired me. You inspired me. When I got my role, I had real people reach out to me and be like, yo, man, you're doing it for the people, you're doing it for us. You represent you, we behind you 1,000%. But you have those fake friends in the background that's competing in their mind, like, if he got it, I should have got it because I know where he's from.
And pocket watching and all that, yeah.
Watching, pillow talking,
right.
The friend circle start having other conversations. That's what Drake is going through right now.
Absolutely.
The friends in his circle are having other conversations with each other. And he's starting to get that. He's starting to see that because you got someone like Ross who came out and started dissing you. You had someone like Future who kind of lit the match and stepped away and haven't done anything since inception of this whole thing starting. Right.
And then you got Cole like, no, I'm still your friend.
Oh, I'm still your friend. I still value our friendship. You know what I mean? And
no, but the song is good. Don't do that. The song is great.
It's a dope song. But I try to share that AG to bring a real life perspective because these are real life things that he might be going through. I don't condone it. I'm an internal processor. So I may internalize a lot of my emotion, my feelings about things. I may not say much about it. I just process. I process and I watch and I see the moves that people make. Right.
I'm the same. Yeah.
And I handle it as I handle it when I need to handle it. Whereas some people, they process externally. A lot of artists, a lot of rappers, a lot of musicians, they wear their emotions on the sleeve, so their expression is through music. That's how they get it off. Drake expression is through memes. It's through memes and telling people I've hurt. My friends abandoned me. I thought these guys were my friend. He thought that Pusha in Eclipse, he looked up to them. He didn't think that he'd be battling them and they'll go that far. That Pusha would go that far.
Right.
He didn't anticipate that. He didn't think he would go that far on me. I thought it was gonna be rappity rap.
But can I bring a point back to what you said? Like, maybe Drake doesn't read the room himself well because, you consider these people friends, y'all are collaborators and stuff, and then you think it's okay. Like, a lot of the situation tension with Drake is over some chicks. Like, Drake, like, I thought these chicks were supposed to be for everybody. That's what you're saying in your music or whatever. But because I mess with Shorty over here that you also deal with or whatever, now it's a problem. So, Drake is coming from a vantage point where he's not reading the room because he's not used to moving because Drake, grew up the corny guy. He probably didn't get chicks growing up and stuff. And now he can have any chick and he's pulling chicks that's like, okay, you deal with my man's over here, but I can still have you. So it's like, he won't care or whatever. And that's not reading the room. And then you're sitting back yourself. You wonder like, I wonder why everybody got a problem with me. You know what I'm saying? But you the common denominator, bro. So you got to look in the mirror because if you out here moving slimy, then it's going to be problems. So I think the biggest thing between the two with Cole, I think this is Cole in this song being self-aware of who he is. With Drake and all this stuff about real friends and stuff like that, I don't think he's self-aware.
Yeah.
I just really don't. You know what I mean? Because a lot of his people that he considered friends were friends based on it was transactional as to what he could do for them.
He got complacent.
Yes.
When you get complacent, those type of things happen.
And you get sloppy. Yeah.
Get sloppy. It's get crazy, and then by the time you figure out they got you, you're too far behind to catch up.
That's right.
Yeah. So again, we'll see how this thing take course. We may get another album. We may get it something else. We may get something next week. We may get another diss record next week. We'll see.
Yeah.
We got a super chat, and we're gonna close it out with our 98 playlist. Hold on.
CJ the Kid with the $5 super chat. He said, "I'm glad you didn't forget the Rap Vengers AG. I'll list the whole roster again if I have to. Drake definitely had a reason to cry on stage.
Definitely had a reason.
He ain't had no bass in his voice.
No,
he sounded real Canadian.
No friends.
MJ with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Hip hop fans say they want Drake to rap, so he makes Scary Hours 3 lowest streamed songs in his catalog.
Yeah, they don't go to him for that.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Yeah. Appreciate the $5 super chat again, MJ. Realizing hip hop is all about marketing. Dot is nice, but you got people like Game, Westside, Conway who make great projects but get no love. Yeah, it's a crazy dichotomy we have with music. Real quick, I was having a conversation, like I said, with my homie this morning. He was talking about the Drake side of things because he's a big Drake fan, and he's talking about Drake is more listenable and makes more palatable music for the masses versus Kendrick, and people go to Kendrick for the substance aspect. You know what I mean? So, but I think that's where it's the fundamental split in rap. And me personally, I like to listen to music and get a message out of it. If I can listen to something and take something away from that, then I value that more than the entertainment value of it, because if we both watch Hoop, you know what I mean? I might be watching Hoop and saying like, yo, that's a dope crossover by Kyrie. That's a dope dunk by Ja. And that's all I'm looking to it for and getting entertainment out of it. You might be watching it as a fellow hooper, like, yo, I don't even care about the entertainment. I'm seeing what I can add to my game by watching these guys to really pull something from it of some substance that I can, give to myself. So, I think that's the split, in hip hop. So
Absolutely. Great discussion, man. Damn, Coop. We need you for this one, bro. We may have to circle the block hopefully next week we get another joint.
Hopefully, Soul Plane land safely, man. No turbulence.
They got Coop in a shell right now.
Yo, when we do our 98 playlist, you got to do the honorary joint for Coop. You know what I'm saying? And list his joint.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So those of you who are new to watching us, we close the show out while doing a what we call a 98. A press play playlist. And part of the press play segment is that we actually put together 7 songs each. Myself, Coop, and AG. Each week we'll share with you all what we play in our tape deck, or wherever we stream at each week. So this is that segment. We want you guys to enjoy, because we want you to actually put your 7 songs in the chat, and also follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. We'll put the links in the chat tonight so you can all know how to get to us and join our Discord, because we want you to also share your 7 songs that you are playing in rotation this week. So with that said, with my man Coop being in flight right now, we did a show last week. We called it Brunch on Sundays. It was a 98 edition where we talked about the 4 records that were released on September 29th, 1998. And what we wanted to do, we were inspired by that, by picking 7 songs from 1998 to put on our playlist for this week. So with that being said, I'm going to start with Coop, 7 songs that he had on his playlist for this week from 1998. Coop had Aquemini, West Savannah from Outkast. He had Get At Me Dog from DMX, phenomenal album. Probably the best album that year, matter of fact.
Absolutely.
On The Truth, My Steve's Gangstar. The Soul Survivor joint from Pete Rock, True Master with Inspector That. Love that joint.
So it's crazy.
Capital Punishment joint, Super Lyrical, Black Thought, Big Punisher. And he also had Lost Ones from Lauryn Hill, phenomenal album. And he had Ha by Juvenile as well.
Yeah, that's a fire list, Coop. I ain't gonna lie. That's a dope list.
So AG, let's take me through yours.
All right, I got Cobra Clutch off the Swarm compilation by Ghostface. That's one of my favorite Ghostface songs, and it landed on this compilation. Super fire record. If you slept on this one and didn't listen to it, go back and check it out. Fire record. I got Sweet Love off Method Man's Tikal 2000. Sweet Love was probably top 2 or 3 track for me off that album. I remember I got a hold of the instrumental, and you know what I'm saying, me and some cats that rapped in my dorms, we laced that joint back in the day when I used to write a little bit, so I think Capadonna, Street Life, all them killed this joint. I got The Lox, All for the Love off Living Off Experience, which was Jada's first solo record, which I still think is a classic record to this day. I mean, Jadakiss, this let me know that he was going to be a problem and going to be the front man of the crew, when he put out this record.
No doubt.
I got How You Living with AZ featuring Nas off of Pieces of a Man. And I mean, one of my personal favorite collaborations of theirs. I think it's just, top tier. Enough said. I got Queen's Finest off The Professional album, DJ Clue. We had a dope segment about mixtapes, earlier in the show. And this is the album where we saw mixtape make it to retail. This and Funk Master Flex, 60 Minutes of Funk. So this was a major time in hip hop when we got to see a mixtape hit the retail market. And Nas laced one of the songs on there called Queen's Finest, one of my favorites off that album, The Professional. No doubt. Clue is also Queens for sure. I mentioned this on the 98 show, Coming of Age, the sequel. I think this is probably my second favorite song off of Volume 2. I think it's a brilliant song. It's arguably one of Jay's best concept records. Him and Bleak continuing what was said on the first Coming in Age from Reasonable Doubt, continuing the story. They going back and forth, but their rhymes are just describing, their thought processes before you get to the third verse where they converge and then, really have that discussion and hash out, what they're thinking in that moment. But it's a brilliant record. Beat is dope, and just love this joint. And the last joint I got is Misery Needs Company. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I love the whole Don Cartagena album. I would argue that it's a 5 mic album. You know what I mean? But this is my second favorite record on here after John Blaze and Misery Needs Company. Nori killed this feature, man. Like Nori just had, I said it in the Discord today, like Nori wasn't a super lyrical, rapidy rap guy, but he just had a presence on the mic, and the way his delivery was and his style made him dope. And, you know, he, with his hook and his verse on here, he took this record out of here. And, you know what I'm saying? That's my playlist.
Awesome, man. That's a dope playlist, bro. I rock with that heavy.
Appreciate it.
I took a different approach to my 98 playlist because remember I told you when I went to boot camp, today's the anniversary, October 10th, 1998, the kid was on Paris Island. I actually, it was important for me to hear the intros to music back then because I felt the intro to an album set the tone for the album. And back, you know, during that time in the 90s, the intros was like the set the tone thing, right? So my list consisted of those that were intro, right? And I started out with Beware. Yeah. Beware was crazy. Crazy. Love this joint. Perfect World.
Dope.
This was actually the first song I heard out of boot camp. I bought this album, the Bobby Digital album, when I left boot camp in 99.
Music marks time, bro. Music marks time.
Definitely. Slang editorial.
Fire.
My style came from Capadonna. My whole dress code came from Capadonna. Love slang editorial. The intro from It's Dark in Hell is hot.
Top 3 intro of all time.
Top 3 intro of all. Bro, when I heard this joint, my mom had a black Dodge Neon. I almost bust speakers when she was driving that joint. I was in that black Dodge Neon whipping the corners. You know what I mean?
This is crazy. Seeing him come out to that in concert is next level.
I missed it too, bro. Good grief, I missed it. Yeah. Living the Life by the Locks. You notice a lot of the albums that you had actually.
Same ones. Yeah, good pull.
Intros, but Living the Life by the Locks to me was like a good set tone for that album as well. And I also had Band from TV.
There we go.
Hey, Corona Queens Get the Money, Left Rack City. This was like the anthem. I'm be honest with you. Like this joint right here was like the anthem's anthem, straight up. If you know, you know. And I also had Let the Monkey Out by Redman from Doc's the Name album. And this is my personal favorite album from Redman. My personal favorite.
Wow, over Muddy Waters?
Yeah, my personal favorite. I connect because again, when I had this album, I bought this album, although it came in 98, I bought it in 99.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just in a boot camp. I got a boot camp in 99. So this is when I started getting my record collection up, my CD cases up. And
Redman's discography is crazy. Muddy Waters 2 coming out soon, by the way.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. And I wish Coop was here because in respect to 98, I'm not doing a fresh kicks and fresh style segment, but I did want to share a picture from the kid 98 circa 99, white Averett jacket off the belly, you know what I mean? In the Japan, I was in a club in Japan, underage drinking, while you and Coop was in high school trying to figure out life. I was in the club wearing the Averex. You know what I mean?
Yo, the Averex was tough. I ain't gonna lie.
Drinking sake. This was young Sean right here, 1999.
But you know what I'm saying? The Averex is dope, but to be on the couch that big with nobody, you know what I'm saying? No girls around, just kind of crazy.
No, that was
like you got to the club early with nobody there.
No, that was VIP in Japan. That was Japan VIP.
Sean was in the Japanese soul bar VIP by himself. That's nasty work.
Japanese soul bar, the original Japanese soul bar. Right? You and Coop was doing Pledge of Allegiance to the flag in school. I was in Japan. I was in Japan wearing a white Everest jacket.
Hey, listen, I'm not even going. Thank you for your service, sir. I'm not even going to hate on that.
I wish Coop was here, man, so I can talk trash to Coop about that. And Coop, that picture was taken the night before we had a basketball game, by the way.
Here we go again.
I'm just saying, if I would have saw Coop back then, he would have been like, #2, you did a great job. I'm like, out of my face. You know what I mean? Beat it. beat it. I mean, beat it, kid.
That's crazy. But real spit, I think this, like, from top to bottom, like when we put our playlist together, man, I think this is one of the most fire press play segments we've ever had. You know what I'm saying? So when we post that, you know, y'all got a dope playlist to go check out. And real quick, before we head up out of here, I'd be remiss, you know, you talked about your boot camp anniversary. The 8th, a couple of days ago, was the 33rd anniversary of Mr. Scarface's back. So just wanted to bring that back because I forgot to mention that in the opening segment with the Discord dialogue. So that had a 33rd anniversary on that album. So salute to Scarface. We're going to have a new Discord dialogue segment next week. So I can't wait to see who that is because we don't know yet. We got to put the voting polls in the Discord. So
no doubt. Yo, shout out to everybody. You know, first of all, Queens get the money. We know what it is. Shout out to the newcomers. I saw some new comments in the section. Nino Brown, thank you for pulling up. KJ, for pulling up. Anyone from Queens, thank you for pulling up for sure. Just want to throw that out there. Shout out to the Discord. We appreciate the Discord. If you haven't joined our Discord, please connect to our Discord. You will have fun. Conversations are continuous. Hip hop banter is continuous. It's a great community over there to talk about just everything. Springfield, Queens, what up? Follow us on Twitter, HipHopTalks Twitter. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on everything that we got out there. Facebook, Twitter, Discord.
like, subscribe, and share. You know, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Tell a friend to tell a friend. We love the feedback. You know, we love the discourse. We love to have the conversation. We love the engagement. You all engage very well with us tonight. We thank you all for that. We got a lot of things coming up. We have an actual the stories online. We'll put that in the chat as well. If you want to get some merch, that's going to be out there. We're working on other things as well for merch sake, and we're also working on other shows. We have an event coming up. It's going to be we're going to be a part of an event on November 8th, 9th, and 10th. Going to be in Shelby, North Carolina. Again, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and we'll share that information as well. But we're going to be at the Southern Soul Music Festival this year. We're going to be out there showing love to those guys out there. So, you know, continue to support. We appreciate y'all. Again, thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the discourse, the comments. Coop, be safe out there.
Safe travel.
Coop was here so we can have some more banter with him. Yo, we'll be back next week. All right.
Peace, y'all.
Peace, y'all. Trife, LB, LP, all of y'all. Jack, Tracy, everybody. If I didn't mention you, I'm sorry. We love y'all. Peace.
Peace.